told you that life would end.
Which is precisely what motivates guys like Nigel McGuinness.
What little things.
This is wrestling's backwater, the independent circuit, where most wrestlers will spend their careers.
All right, it goes here.
There's no glitz, no glamour, no TV lights. For Nigel, this moment's been a year in the making. As scripted, Nigel lands his super kick and gets his career off on the right foot.
To really be able to make the crowd scream at you or boo you without them even realizing that you're getting them to do it. It's magic. It's magic.
For me and you.
It's a job, man.
You strive for something so long, you know, and you think, if I never make it, it'll be a tragedy. Maybe that's the beauty of it, that I'm still chasing it. And I will always be chasing it. If the dream was working in a grocery store at 35, okay, there was this too.
Just staying on his feet, he's got the iron right outside the net. Power under here.
My name is Nigel McGuinness, and this is my story. I grew up in a small village in the southeast of England, and when I was about 14 years old, I had a dream. Probably not unlike a lot of kids that age.
Do you remember we body slammed each other like 100 times?
But, unlike a lot of kids that age, I guess I never really did grow up. I travelled around the world.
People would say, why is he running behind the bus? And we would say, because he wants to be a wrestler.
Really?
And they would say, what's that got to do with wrestling? We'd say, absolutely nothing. But if you want to be a wrestler, you've got to be a bit special.
I went to university.
All your mates on the walls had the posters of the girls, and you had the British Bulldog.
But at the end of it, the only thing I ever wanted to do, still, was be a professional wrestler. I felt like it was my destiny. And so I found a pamphlet in the back of a wrestling magazine and wrote off to every wrestling school in it. Months later, I bought a ticket and went to America to finally pursue the only dream I ever had.
Well, remember when you first come over from England?
Yeah.
And you were at Leicester?
No, you were shaking. You were like so excited to be in a wrestling ring.
You were so hungry, not only for food, but for knowledge.
No muscles, straight up and down like the board.
You were dedicated. You wanted it more than anything. And you were so upset, I remember when you had to go back.
After my first match, being featured on ABC 2020, I had to go back to England. But I never gave up. I slept on a friend's kitchen floor for over a year and saved up enough money to come back and pursue the dream again. I started at the bottom, driving endless hours for little or no money, wrestling on small independent shows all over the country. Until, after a few years, I started to get good enough to wrestle all over the world for a living, albeit a small one. I became champion for Ring of Honor, a highly regarded independent promotion. And it was here I made a name for myself, learning the art form and paying considerable physical price in doing so. I know, you don't believe wrestling's an art form. Let me show you why. Just looks like two guys beating each other up, right? Well, if we do it well. If we don't, it looks like two guys letting each other beat each other up. Or worse, two guys letting each other pretend to beat each other up. And therein lies the problem. Unfortunately, it's often not that difficult to be a pro wrestler on TV. If you have a look, if you played some college football, if your dad used to be one, you can be on TV sometimes in a few months. What's difficult and formidably demanding, however, is to be a good one. And if you're not, wrestling is every bit as fake and phony as people say. I have no interest in that. What I am interested in is the art form. recreating a physical contest such that people believe it and are moved by it in the same way as if it were. When you wrestle, you're an actor, no different than on a movie screen or in a theatre. The way you stand, the way you move, every strike, every hold, every reaction to a strike or hold must ring true, or the illusion is lost. Someone once said acting is the stuff between the lines. Wrestling, then, is the stuff between the moves. When you wrestle, it's like ballet. There's the same grace of two bodies working in unison, creating the illusion of conflict, using moves that require skill and practice to perfect and execute safely. When you wrestle, you're a storyteller, learning over the years how to structure a match, when to do the moves, some planned, some ad-libbed, to draw the fans in, setting things up to be paid off later. Reacting off the crowd, giving them what they expect, just not when they expect it. Because when they don't know what's going to happen next, you've got them. And for that to really happen, something out of the ordinary needs to happen. Sometimes planned, often not, that shocks them. But even then, it is all for nothing without the crowd. But when it does all come together, every action passes the scrutiny. Something extraordinary happens. The story draws them in. Only on that night, in that building, with those people, it's magic. And for those moments, it's like nothing you'll ever experience. Like you're at the centre of the universe conducting. Like even for those few moments, you touched immortality, caught lightning in a bottle, or part of something profound. And you forgive every missed punch, every bad storyline, because you felt the magic. I felt it as a fan when I was 14. I felt it in my first match. I feel it now, and with a tear in my eye, I will feel it when I'm grey and old. And that is what I spent my life pursuing. I was considered in many people's eyes one of the better wrestlers in the world.
First guest today is considered by many to be the best British export in the world. Now,
Nigel McGuinness, I mean, at one point in his career, he was having some of the best matches in the world.
Some of which were with my longtime rival and friend, American Dragon, Brian Danielson.
Nigel and I tend to bring out the best in each other, I think, in the ring. When we're outside the ring, we bicker a lot.
We'd wrestled and beaten each other up everywhere from Liverpool, England, to Sydney, Australia, to New York City. So it was fitting, perhaps, when we were both signed to WWE at the same time.
I remember there was a day I woke up and I got online. Nigel McGuinness was on Yahoo trending now. I'm like, what?
It was as though we'd gone through the war together, and now we were coming out on the other side. And our dreams finally coming true. 2 months later, however, I showed up in WWE's rival promotion, TNA, while Brian went on to be a superstar in WWE. I started off well in TNA with a fantastic feud and series of matches with Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. It seemed as though my star was made. Over the next month or so, Hulk Hogan and a lot of the biggest names in the business joined TNA, and I got to be in the ring with some of my childhood heroes. Relatively quickly, however, my star began to fade, eventually leading to arguably overly sensationalized storylines and hardcore matches. My star continued to fall until I was brought back as part of a tag team. After setting up a match for the tag team titles, however, I was mysteriously pulled from the pay-per-view at the last moment, with little explanation to the audience. And then I disappeared from TV altogether.
Right, so you disappear, you're off television, you're done. What's the story?
And as weeks became months, speculation about what had happened to me abounded.
I've read on the internet that I've got hepatitis C, and everybody else thinks I've just got brain damage. So...
I'm going to ask you a question. You can tell me something about this. It's been why
Eventually, I was brought back in a commissioner role on a secondary show, but less than a month after that, I was fired. The dream was over. WWE wasn't interested. I'd done everything outside of WWE I possibly could. If I wrestled anywhere else, I wouldn't make enough money to even pay my bills if I got hurt again. So what could I do? I could have disappeared, slinked off in bitterness and disappointment. Or I had one last run. One last chance for the fans that wanted to come out and say goodbye. And a chance to say goodbye to them too. And to a lot of the friends I'd met along the way. But more than that, it was a chance for a resolution. A chance to try to understand what exactly is this thing called professional wrestling that I spent my life pursuing. Why did I go to TNA instead of WWE? And what happened in TNA that ultimately led to my demise? But as much as anything, if that 14-year-old boy who dreamt of being a professional wrestler could see me now, would he see our dream as a success or a failure? I'd like some resolution. I'd like to feel good about myself again. Who am I fucking kidding? I never felt good about myself. I just want to be happy. I will. It's about 6:30 in the morning, the day before the tour starts. It's been 15 months since I've wrestled. I'm finally cleared to wrestle. I'm not sure I ever had a specific idea of what being a wrestler was going to look like. I guess it was always wrestling for WWE, travelling around the world and making the sort of money I could retire on, you know? And this hasn't been it. And I know that. And I know that it arguably never will be. Many years of my life pursuing this, my whole entire adult life. And, you know, it didn't pay off. I mean, that's the truth. I guess I always did see myself ending up in WWE. Being one of the guys that people talk about, like, oh, if you never give up and, you know, all this sort of stuff. I know, I've heard it all before. Fucking, it's all perspective, it's all perspective. Yeah. Fuck perspective. I've got some perspective for you. 20 years of fucking pursuing this dream and fucking sacrificing everything I possibly fucking could. Not only did it not pay off, but I'm fucked. Cut my fucking arm as well. That's great. Perfect. You know, me and blood. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I just want to feel like it wasn't a waste. As you can see, one of the skills that any independent professional wrestler worth his salt knows is how to pack a carry-on bag with as much merchandise as is physically possible. Over here, I have my new tour shirt. There's a small, a medium, a large, an extra large, and a double large. Because I'm wearing them all on the plane tomorrow. Fantastic, because there's no room in the bag. I've got my week and a half's worth of clothes. It's a joke. as I'm not taking any fucking clothes. I'm wearing the same pair of jeans, 2 t-shirts, and some socks. I know I'm not going to be able to wrestle the same sort of matches that I could when I was in my prime. You know, it's the last chance they're going to see me wrestling. So I'm hoping that's worth something. Even if I only got one camera, no one to shoot it, no fucking microphone. Yet, that's coming on Wednesday. Someone is supposed to be here to pick me up, but I'm not sure who.
How you doing? You're looking good.
I've lost weight since I last saw you.
Well, see, we're keeping everything even in the world.
So we're hoping he'll be here by the start of the show. Certainly hoping he'll be here by the start of my match. So for all of those people that think, you know, wrestling's about planning out hours in advance, I had to see something that isn't. Oh, what fucking time is this, eh? It'd been 15 months since I last wrestled. I didn't know if I'd ever wrestle again. It was as though I'd been holding my breath for all that time. And now finally, I could breathe again.
Right here in Wildtown, New York, Nigel!
Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for coming out and supporting me for the last 12 years of my life. I couldn't pick a better person to have my first match back on the retirement tour.
Forget how much wrestling hurts, you know what I mean? It really fucking does. Fake it is not. It's good, I'm happy. I'm alive. Didn't get hurt, didn't hurt anyone. Thank you, sweetheart. 12:30 of an evening, and we are hungry, which is why we are going to Mo's place.
Why do you hate wrestling?
I don't hate wrestling.
That's the question.
You know, you guys have been to WWE and you've experienced that, so now you have a sense of satisfaction, whether it lived up to what you...
Sure.
You know what I mean? Whereas I never did. So I'm now feeling almost as though my life was a failure because of it. You do when you first tell people you're going to be a wrestler, and people sort of poo-poo it. You go, right, I'm going to fucking prove them wrong, you know what I mean? And I proved them right.
I think it's a rotten motivation. Life works according to your beliefs. And if you're never going to catch your break, then you're never going to catch your break. But you've decided that.
I always used to find that this time was my favourite time of wrestling.
I say it all the time.
Yeah.
Time between shows.
Yeah.
My absolute favourite.
You're on the road, you're chatting about things and having a laugh. And that's the freedom that
people don't have who work regular jobs. I think that's that's the perk of it.
I spent a lot of the tour thinking about wrestling on the independent scene, where I'd spent the majority of my career, trying to understand why we do it. Because, I mean, no one wants to be an independent wrestler. I think we all want to get to WWE. When you start off, you do it because, while it wasn't your dream, it's still pro wrestling.
This was always what I wanted to do.
And once you've started, you love it.
Found the love because you got into it in the first place because you loved it, you know what I mean?
Some of us never stop loving it.
I do, I love it. I still get just as jacked. I still get it that excited, whether there's 20,000 or 20. There's been things I've been good at, but this, I like doing it.
For a lot of us, it's a break from normal life.
It's like a different life.
And sometimes, a chance to work with your childhood heroes.
And being able to sit beside him and do commentary. It was the closest to having sex with a man that I've ever...
Then there's all the places you wouldn't otherwise go.
Spain was Turkey 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't be able to do any of that stuff if it wasn't for this job.
And all the people you wouldn't otherwise meet.
You hang out with people for a weekend or 2 weeks straight, you won't see them for.
Some of whom, for moments in your life, become your closest friends.
Bison had me doing whiskey shots.
Guys like Bison Smith, who we only ever saw in Japan, but was like an older brother to all of us.
Fucking pay them! I have no money!
There's a reality of putting your body in somebody else's hands, not unlike the army, that forms a bond like family.
Honestly, I look at you like you're my older brother.
You feel like you're on the same journey together.
I just sent my tape into WWE,
So part of why you do it is the things you share with these people.
My first wank was to Sunday on the back of a PWI magazine.
The memories.
He went 1, 2, and Arby's roast beef sandwich landed right in front of his face on the ring and exploded.
The experiences.
Tonight you're going to be Black Tiger, right? Didn't even give him a mask. Just because he was black, he called him Black Tiger.
The compassion.
So this is the end for you. Can I say, from an English person like myself who's not from England at all, good fucking riddance. That's what I'm going to say.
My life was a tragedy.
I love wrestling. Now I can't wrestle anymore. Please feel sorry for me.
And Mark Briscoe. Eventually, however, a lot of this can fade.
Start doing it because you love it, and then, you have days where you don't like it so much.
So why keep doing it? Because we have hope.
We all hope for that one last run. Maybe somebody will pick me up and I got one last run in me. Maybe I could work a year or two for WWE, or hell, I'd work the ring crew. I don't care. Instead of working at Home Depot or stocking groceries at Kroger or whatever, you're still around the business and you're still doing something that you love.
And as much because you're afraid of if you don't. Afraid you'll be a failure. Afraid of the people who said you couldn't. And what they'll say now.
Like, oh, so you went back to school, good. You finally got this wrestling out of your system.
Yeah, right.
You try to make it seem like, oh, I'm chasing my dream, and this is great that I'm chasing my dream. I'm doing this wonderful thing by chasing my dream.
Yeah.
But by walking away and being like, oh, it's okay, it's almost like an admission that, it wasn't as great as maybe you made it out to be.
But ultimately, whether you're starting out or you've been doing it for years, you do it for the same reason that people come to watch you. The same reason you watched wrestling as a fan. You felt the magic.
When Hulk Hogan picked up Andre the Giant and body slammed him.
Oh, there's nothing like it. I mean, when you can get the people eating out of your hand and you're conducting them, just like bring them up and bring them down, the emotions, and it's a high that no drug can actually ever give you.
My favourite place to eat in the whole of America.
They always used to have me over their apartment and we'd go swimming together in the pool.
And Andre with his goggles. Grown man wearing goggles.
Andre was one of our friends from the local wrestling scene. His contract with WWE had been rescinded about the same time as mine, in his case, for testing positive for HIV. 6 months before I'd started the tour, he'd made national news after being charged with 12 counts of felonious assault for allegedly not disclosing his HIV status to sexual partners.
He's now facing 120 years in prison, right?
Yeah.
Internet websites had spread a lot of lies and mistruths. saying he'd purposely bled in numerous matches after the fact.
I personally offered anybody the HWA video collection to find these matches because they don't exist. People come up to my girlfriend and say, "Aren't you worried? Andre and Tim lived together for a while. Aren't you? He was like, he used the same toilet, he used the same soap.
Really? That's absolutely frightening in this day and age.
Andre hitting a guy with a forearm when he was a manager with 2 or 3 layers on isn't going to give you HIV, but the guys will publicly cry about it. They will bring up the fact that they, shared the same women.
WWE's got it right. No fucking bleeding, but there's people themselves should be smart to that. So tired and kind of worried. Just hearing them talk about how they're all freaking out. Everybody's like, oh my god, he could have given me HIV and from hugging me or giving me a forearm. I'm just really second guessing myself.
The next day I had lunch with Les, my original trainer. The issue kept coming up.
You did? In 72, yeah. Now, see, I don't know. Everybody's C, B, A, D. I don't know.
Right.
But I never was so weak as anything my whole fucking life. You could thump my liver like it was a watermelon.
Really?
He said one sharp kick or punch, it would rupture. You'd have been dead before you hit the ground. I'd worked with the Andersons that night in Danville, and they ran to the doctor, but nobody had it but me.
Right. I was talking to Tim Tallman about Andre Hart, and
Jesus.
Blood in this fucking industry today, people just gushing fucking blood. Well, how does that fucking work?
I don't know.
It's fucking stupidity that even in this day and age it still happens in this fucking industry.
Even the next day when I caught up with Cody Hawk, one of my oldest friends in wrestling, we quickly got around to the subject.
And I had wrestled him just 12 months prior.
Where he was still HIV positive?
Yeah.
Were you worried? Were you freaking out? Or were you more...
Not necessarily. I never shared women with him.
Yeah.
But I was worried because I knew he was sleeping with rats.
Right.
And the rats were sleeping with all the boys.
Right.
You never knew, how many of the boys whatever rat had been with. I was really upset about it because I thought I was one of his boys.
Right.
I thought we were close. And if he would have just came to me when he first found out and just said, I'm sick and I want to keep this on the down low. I don't want the world to know. But, somewhere along the line, I don't think I would have had a problem wrestling him. I know I can work a match without getting cut. I would have helped him. Just that's it. My boys are my boys. Even if you get sick or whatever, you're still my boy.
My heart was racing as he was talking. I thought for a moment he was talking about me. Maybe in some way he was.
Lucky to have you, even if you didn't realise. You know what I mean? That's This is going to be one of my last matches, so it's obviously where I started off as well, so it's nice to be able to come back. See so many young guys who are hungry and, enjoying the business. Carry on enjoying the business, because it doesn't last forever. And some highlights from my first match. October 99. So, over 12 years later.
Everybody who starts in this business ends somewhere in this business. For some, they get to the very top, for others, they don't get quite that far. But when you make it to the top, or when you just have your first match, it means something special.
I was a little bit nervous earlier today. Even though there's no reason, there's no danger, I've been cleared to wrestle, and you still worry, if people find out, that they're going to freak out in the same way, what the fuck did you tell me? It's not like I feel like I want to wrestle anymore, or I even should wrestle anymore, I know it's time for me to move on. It's just tough when it's right here, and I feel good doing it.
What are you going to tell me about the match tonight? I can't wait to see it. You know, Nigel and my dad, they're gonna have a great match. Wolf, Shark Boy, whose side you gonna be on?
Whose side are you going to be on?
Well, it's obvious because I have this shirt right here.
Yeah, but you have to wear that shirt, don't you? I think deep down you're really on my side, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Uh-huh.
When I first got to America, Sharky helped me as much as anyone. He let me crash on his couch, helped me buy my first car, and took me to shows, smarting me up to so many aspects of wrestling. Wrestling him on one of my last ever shows was a big deal for me.
I'm thrilled that I could be here as one of his final matches on this farewell tour. It really means a lot to me. I think it means a lot to him. We're basically not too far from where we both broke into this business, and we're actually in the town where my kid goes to school here at this school. It's got a whole lot of meaning for me on a lot of different levels.
I would like to say what a pleasure it is to be here today, but that would be a lie. I've never seen a bigger piece of trash than you. My little boy Dylan, stand up and wave, Dylan. Stand up and wave, everybody. My son goes to school here. And the last guy I'm going to say is Nigel McGuinness. Desmond Wolf, whatever you want to call him. He is one of the toughest SOB I have ever faced in that ring. And he's retiring from wrestling real soon. This is his retirement tour. And I'm real proud to have been a part of it. And I'd just like you to give Nigel one more round of applause for the match he had tonight. Come on out here. Come on, you guys. Give it up.
Just got to the back. It's a good match. Just being out there afterwards, you know, like seeing 3 lines of like 20, 30 people and no one coming to me. Nothing could have made it any clearer. Perception of me in the wrestling business at the moment.
Sitting there, it just kind of really rang true that I'd never got to that sort of stage in my career where I was that sort of recognisable. I always thought, like, if you never give up and you try your hardest, you'll make it. You know what I mean? The cream rises to the top, and
It's just not true. The nice guys, the ones that deserve it, a lot of them never do get the opportunity, you know?
So, I mean, so how do you look at that? Do you just, you know, say, oh, well, I tried?
Well, it's not like you're a failure, man. You did a heck of a lot. And no hardcore wrestling fan doesn't know who you are and isn't impressed by you, man. And you made it to TV. How many guys make it to TV? You made it to TV, bro. You know, I just consider myself really lucky. This was something I started telling people when I was 11 years old I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And here I'm standing here in front of you now. I'm 36 years old, and it's all I've done for the last 14 years or whatever. That's pretty amazing.
It's nice today to, you know, have your son out there and say, right?
There was nothing like that, man.
Yeah.
And it's just like what you said, man. There's more to life than wrestling, bro. My kid asked me, he's like, Dad, is being a wrestler like the coolest thing ever? I was like, no, being your dad is the coolest thing ever.
Man.
You know, and I mean it. I really do mean it. I said being a wrestler is the second coolest thing I ever did.
Yeah. Ohio in the fall. We are in search of the tree from Shawshank Redemption. Do you reckon, like, anyone ever had sex underneath it? You ever have sex outside?
Yeah.
You did?
I have.
With somebody else?
I only do tours on the weekends, but somebody's got to be there. They're answering.
Maybe a Puerto Rican to go ask isn't the best.
Hello.
Can I help you?
Yeah, my buddy from England, he wants to know where's that tree from the Shawshank Redemption. Do you guys happen to know?
You know, it's just that.
No.
That looks like a tree that's split in half, right?
Has been and go, and then it rained down on our feet.
There it is. There's a rock wall. Oh, it must have been bigger back when we filmed it in 94, right?
There was something about visiting that wall. Maybe because I watched the movie at the same time of life as I first dreamt of being a wrestler.
Boys and girls, hand in hand. So
That night I wasn't wrestling because, quite frankly, I wasn't a big enough name for the money I wanted. So I sat and watched the show, selling the odd picture to fans with a faint recollection they might have once seen me on TV.
You're not in WWE at this point, yeah?
I bring up the third angle on CNA. It wasn't real though, he let me do it.
Were you saying something? You were coming in?
No, I was just saying, I do. I feel kind of bad. You look a little jaded, or...
So it's different doing these shows now than before. When I do these shows, I feel like I was on my way up, you know. Now, being here and I'm not on my way up, and it's all going to be over very shortly. And that was it.
I still say though, you got to remember you've made it a lot farther than the rest of us. A lot of guys would love to have made it as far as you and been the places you've been, and
I know.
try to be thankful for it.
No, I know I should be. You're right, absolutely. You know.
And like you were saying earlier, you believe in if you have the dream, you can chase the dream, and now you think, well, I chased it, I gave it my all, and maybe you can achieve the dream. That makes me sad. I feel like it's wearing on you a little bit.
You've got one life, you know.
So you feel like one of those guys that landed on the moon but never got to walk on it.
The people that get to walk on the moon get paid for it for the rest of their lives. The people that don't. And I hate to say it's about money because it's not necessarily about money, you know. But I mean, the difference between getting signed by WWE and having a run there and not is huge. Money-wise, you know, you're talking every bit of $100,000 minimum.
And why did I not get to WWE? Let me explain. To become a good professional wrestler, you have to wrestle a lot. And if you wrestle a lot, injuries are inevitable. And so when I went for my WWE medical, even though I was perfectly okay to wrestle, I wasn't right off the showroom floor.
I want to congratulate both Brian and Nigel. Both these guys have worked so hard.
Nonetheless, I passed every physical test.
They certainly have earned the right to go to a worldwide stage.
As well as every test for bloodborne illnesses and drugs. The doctor asked me, however, if I'd had any injuries in the past. He said if there was an issue, they'd fix it, but if I didn't disclose something and they found out, I'd be fired. My torn biceps were common knowledge, but I'd seen an orthopedic specialist who had advised me to avoid surgery by resting and letting them scar in place to where I'd still have functional strength.
Bastard clam digger knocked me out. I can't remember the first thing.
I couldn't have afforded surgery anyway, and as it turned out, I changed my style and my arms were perfectly fine. After feeling them in person, the WWE doctor agreed, but to be safe, wanted to see the original MRIs. When he saw them, however, he said I needed to get new MRIs done, as the left bicep should have been surgically repaired. More money, more time. When he saw the new one, he concurred, and told me over the phone he couldn't clear me to be hired. I went back to my original orthopedic doctor who stood by his prognosis, and to be fair, I'd wrestled without an issue for 2 years. He wrote a letter confirming this, that my arm was no more likely to get injured than if it had never been torn in the first place.
I don't know what is going to happen in the future with my future, but I said future twice, didn't I? That's stupid.
But it didn't matter. WWE rescinded my contract. I could have had the surgery their doctor suggested, But at $5,000, when I was already broke from waiting for them to decide, and wouldn't be able to work for the 6 months it would take to heal, not to mention the fact that no one in WWE would return my calls to say if they'd even be interested then, well, what would you do? TNA had called me the day of my last show for Ring of Honor and told me that they would hire me if WWE didn't. I already had an idea by then there might be an issue. And so I called them back, explained the arm issue, gave them my orthopedic doctor's letter, and the next week, when the wrestling world still thought I was going to WWE, I showed up at TNA and had one of the best matches of the year against Kurt Angle. And for the record, wrestling for TNA for over a year with a busier schedule than ever before in my career, my arm has never been hurt again.
It's weird, I sat there tonight and thought, well, why do I care whether they know who I am? I guess it comes back to what you do it for. Do you do it for the love of the art? Do you do it because, you know, that's what gives you enjoyment, or you do it because that you want to be famous? I think I always wanted to be famous. Kind of shallow, perhaps.
The mystery of what happened to me in TNA and why I retired kept coming up.
And people are always going to speculate heavy. I mean, it's went from concussions to hepatitis to AIDS. You know why people have to start believing in one of those things? Because you're that good. And they know that unless it's something that crazy, you would still be with TNA or you would be with WWE.
I mean, that's not true at all.
You think your window is actually closing right now. You're not going to want to stay out of this business. You're not.
What's up, guys?
This last night had absolutely nothing to do with who won, who lost. And we're here tonight to pay tribute to someone who's been with us from the beginning, one of the best technical wrestlers in the world today. I can tell you right now, every person in this locker room that knows you,
I'm really lost for words. I wasn't expecting that at all. I just want to thank you, thank everybody who brought me all this time, tell you how much it means to me and how much I just feel that bond with every single one of you for that love of professional wrestling. It took me to America, took me to pursue my dreams, and it brought every one of you here tonight. So.
Been a real emotional week. It's been kind of a gradual thing. Me not wrestling anymore. You know, at first I was going to be out for 3 months, and then 6 months, and then little by little I kind of seen that, you know, any future in the wrestling business was gone. So for me to now come back and wrestle, it's like reliving my whole career all over again. Talk to the fans afterwards. Talk to a lot of the boys afterwards. It's always with some kind of a bittersweet feeling, in the sense that I'm probably not going to see most of these people ever again.
Can you sit here tonight and say without a shadow of a doubt that you will never,
wrestle again?
No, of course not. If Vince McMahon called me and said we want to give you a job, then I'd wrestle for WWE. It'd be a step up, I'd make money, I'd have some guarantees, and it'd be worth it. I've called, I've tried to make my presence felt, you know, see if there's interest, and there isn't.
Regardless if you're in wrestling or not, I think that I've made someone that I will know and keep in contact with my entire life.
You know, I don't want to hear that you're dead in a few years and stuff like that, so you really got to, you know, just get back in shape and quit that smoking and, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I want to have you around for a long time, mate, you know, I don't want to...
Well, I appreciate that.
I don't want to go to another funeral in this business. It's kind of weird saying goodbye to Kev there like that. A strange sense that I wasn't going to see him again.
My premonition about Kevin was wrong, but thinking back to that feeling now, I get chills down my spine when I realise 3 days later, Bison Smith died. The night before I was leaving for England, my roommate came in the room and just said Bison. I could tell from his face what he meant. For the next hour I sat there packing in silence, because what words are there that haven't been said before? I can't believe that he's not somewhere. I don't know how this makes sense, where this fits in to the dream I had when I was 12 years old. Maybe there isn't reason to it. I can just say that I was glad to know you, glad to have met you, glad to have been part of that story, and hope that one day some of this, all of this, makes sense, because right now it doesn't.
Think about those 6 guys that came from Memphis. The Haas brothers, the Island Boys, Bradley and Kate.
Wow.
Yeah. Charlie Haas and Rosie, the only 2 left alive.
And it's not just the people that have died necessarily, it's the injuries and a lot of the fucking emotional and physical trauma that goes along with it, you know?
Is there not one point that you sit there and thinking, hang on, is this really worth it?
No, man, there's just still something there. You know, the wrestling business is dying, you know, the boys are dying, but there's still something there that makes me want to do it.
Here we are, finally back in England.
How do you feel about me retiring and not wrestling anymore?
Very pleased, really, because I don't have to worry about you getting injured anymore.
Think it was like a silly pipe dream, or...?
No.
No?
I thought you might actually grow out of it.
Yeah. You don't think it was a waste of time, then?
Not at all.
Being a wrestler? No.
No. You could have been doing something really boring.
It's been really nice being back here and seeing my parents and remembering how it felt to feel so secure and loved that I could go and pursue my dreams and know that no matter what happened I could always come back here and be safe and secure. I don't think I'll ever be able to tell them how grateful I am. Just kind of disappointing to, you know, here I am, 35-year-old, coming back and, you know, not having achieved my dream and not having been able to come back and buy my parents dinner. And, you know, I mean, Christ, they had to freaking pay for my flight to come back here. I'm sure they'd say as long as I'm happy, they're happy. And I just want to be able to say it was worth it. And that they're proud.
I thought, well, that'll make me a millionaire within the...
That was my plan. You know, I always thought, well, your mum always took care of me so much and gave me the sort of freedom to pursue my dreams.
You know what they say?
What's that?
Money isn't everything.
It's usually poor people that say money isn't everything, right?
Yeah, well, what your grandma used to say, that the most important thing in life is your health. And without your health, the money means nothing. Well, the worst thing is all the illnesses you don't know you have, aren't they?
Right.
And that's why, in a way, you can in a way, you were quite fortunate. If you'd just found out now, and you'd have gone through the last year as normal, then it could have been
a lot worse, right? Another would have been.
Deep down, I still had that feeling that I had ever since I was 14 years old, that I was going to achieve my dream. I just felt it inside me. I felt like this can't be chance. This can't be just some neurosis that's going on in your head. But as I look at things now, I don't see how I can't look at it any other way. Or do you think there's still hope? Because this is just one final, absolutely, seemingly unsurmountable, massive obstacle in your dream.
Alright, thanks, Indad.
Okay, take care, mate.
Right, done with some matches, your wrestling title. The best matches I've ever seen, mate, honestly. It's mental. Cheers for many years of wrestling. We can go look at the future. Cheers, folks.
Even my girlfriend thinks I wanted to be from TNA.
Where is your girlfriend?
She's at home at the moment. And she knows from my Desmond Wall. She was like, I'm going to see Desmond Wall come on. It's like, it's a bit fucking surreal for me at the moment because I absolutely fucking adore you as like a pro wrestler. I'm sorry, I'm just a bit choked up at the moment, that's all. You're on the up. You've not reached your peak.
You tell Vince McMahon, and I won't retire, okay?
Looks like a decent crowd there tonight, so to walk through. Very honoured tonight to be part of the Nigel McGuinness retirement tour. One of the big names to come from the UK and stand out in the indie scene, get into TNA. He's done a lot in the world of wrestling. I think everyone here agrees it's a privilege to have him here with us tonight.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah! Well, you are the best crowd I think I've ever wrestled for in my entire life. Thank God for alcohol.
He epitomised every single fucking thing that I care about in professional wrestling. You went the extra mile, and you have given everything for this fucking business. And I'm fucking nearly in tears to see you walk away from it. Thank you, Nigel McGuinness. For allowing me to watch you professionally wrestle, and to provide you 1% of what you do is a fucking honour, mate. And I'd love you to get in the ring and shake my hand, please.
All things come to an end and we all go to the same place in the end, so the best we can do is smile and just be happy that we enjoyed the ride. God bless you all, thank you all. Please keep supporting this wonderful sport that we all know and love. You know a certain wrestler very well.
Very well.
One of the guys I wrestled tonight.
He came to me and he said, Law, I need to tell you something.
and his eyes were all welled up. Nigel McGuinness is retiring, and I'm going to fight him as part of his retirement tour. And literally, like, he was going to burst into tears because he's such a massive fan and always has been, you know. And I don't think you quite realise how much good British wrestlers look up to you, and their style is very much guided by what you did and how you did, because you've got to remember, very few English wrestlers make it. And to all of us here, you know, you made it.
That's sweet.
Come on, just give me a kiss. It's you.
Unbelievable. It's like she doesn't even like me.
It's gone 3 o'clock now. As you can hear, I'm about to lose my fucking voice. We've lost. Fuck off. We've lost.
Welcome to Laura's house. Chastity pillow in place. There we are. Oh boy. It's like Bert and Ernie, isn't it? Good night, Bert. Oh, Carrie. I remember all the times I've sort of crashed in people's houses or on couches or all these sort of things. And I always used to just go, you know, one day when I'm, you know, working for WWE and making lots of money, I'm going to look back on this time and go, yeah, you know what, I paid my dues. Here you are. And then one day you realise that that's all you're ever going to do. It's not bad, you know what I mean? I'm running about an hour and a half sleep. I've got a fucking European cheese mountain growing on my teeth. Representing.
From London, England, for the very last time in Germany, Nigel McGuinness.
Some start. Und schon am Remote und dann Simon Remote jetzt hier zu laufen. Und der Junge geht
I think Frank Sinatra did it better, but
You know, well, one of the best things about being a professional wrestler is also one of the worst things, in that you get to travel the world and meet wonderful people, but just as soon as you meet them, you have to leave them as well. God bless you. I hope you're okay and you have a wonderful life, okay? We'll keep in touch, you know.
there you see him, the big professional Joel grew up from where it all started. Nigel McGuinness. Nice silence is evident by the respect that each and every party in this contest, the way he's done that, is fought against the world's best as Rev. He lost the arm, instead bolted over to the corner, comes in. And there's been a ruthless competitor. McGuinness catches him out. Redmond finds that single leg. Redmond got caught, but recovers his feet. Springboard, cross body 10x. Opening Joel Redmond's looking for. Another drop. Nigel McGuinness, but just a cut. Redmond has it with a backslide. McGuinness rolls. Redmond takes the legs. Looking for bigger fall perhaps. Bolts over. The legs are spread. He got him.
15 years ago, I was about 15 years old. I lived in a small village very close to here, and I dreamed of one day being a professional wrestler.
So you've seen wrestle before?
I have, yes.
What did you think tonight?
It was very professional. I'm sad that you lost, but I didn't like dancing, you know, keeping in sequence and all that sort of thing.
I wrestled tonight in Sittingbourne, closest venue to where I grew up. Kind of an epiphany of sorts to me, really. And watching the rest of the show and seeing some of the other guys on the show, you know, and just how talented those guys are now, and it just made it ever so clear to me. I don't want to say that the business has passed me by, but with all the younger British guys going to WWE now,
it just made it so abundantly clear to me that my goal to be a WWE wrestler has failed. There's no Hollywood ending to this story. I generally wanted to prove that if you're a young guy and you've got a dream and you never give up and you bust your ass and you believe in yourself, then you can achieve it. I don't know, and I can hear it now. I can hear people's voices in my head now saying, well, but you don't believe it. You've just given up. Never say quit, fuck them. Go back to Ring of Honor. Make a name for yourself again. Prove that you can still wrestle. They have to give you a shot. The truth is they don't. They don't have to give me a fucking shot ever. And at some point my body is going to be fucking broken down. I'm not going to have any way of moving on from this.
Would you do it all again?
I'm doing it a very different way. You don't need to know how to wrestle. Get in shape, send WWE a picture and they'll hire you and they'll train you to be a wrestler. Forget about paying your dues, forget about all that sort of stuff, it's irrelevant, they don't care. But every time I do one of these retirement speeches, it's starting to feel less genuine each time. While it's all true, the overall sense is still one of disappointment, where I feel genuinely that I can contribute to this business. And maybe I can, and maybe I will. Maybe it's like anything in life. You've got to be willing to walk away. 5:20 in the morning. Got a 5.5 hour drive up to Preston today. I went to bed especially early so I could try and get some sleep. Of course I fucking fell asleep for 2 hours, woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and then spent the next 3 hours tossing and turning in the bed, came downstairs, trying to sleep on the couch. No fucking luck. And of course, as soon as I fucking get on that road this morning, I'm gonna fall asleep.
About an hour to go. Quite excited. No, I'm not. I'm just glad to be awake.
It is fucking freezing, and we are in Preston, and why anybody lives here is beyond me.
Out of all my trainees, you're up near the top. Near the top. Got any fucking ego problem.
People often ask me about my favourite match. This is close.
A couple of hours in the pouring rain. It's cold, it's kind of miserable, it's England. Oh, God.
It's okay to turn and run when the noose is touched loosely. We'll be staring down the gun, but I will sing with my heart, giving you everything I've got. I'm saying don't run, I'm saying don't leave. Say that you'll always be with me, but I will sing with my heart, giving you everything I've got. Saying don't run, saying don't leave, say that you'll always be with me. Whoa, this feeling lasts forever.
you know, when the pressure's off and you just have fun. So much of my career I didn't even think about that. It was always go to WWE, go to WWE. Somewhere in the back of my head I still think there's a chance, like, you know, this is going to be Christmas soon, and Christmas is the time of miracles. And why could I not just accept it was over?
Wrestling impresario, Alex Shane.
That's the story of mankind for everyone. It doesn't matter how far you get into it, ultimately, there's going to come a point where we have to, the journey has to end.
This is it. This is you done.
It looks like it, you know, barring a phone call from Vince McMahon.
You've got a stellar reputation from some of those matches with, you know, all the luminaries who are now in WWE or TNA. You kind of paved the way, I think, for a lot of guys to, you know, make a living, and you paid a high price for it. Charlie, you've put on some brilliant wrestling matches. I think everybody would agree with you.
So you say everybody, but that's the thing, you know. It's not everybody. If it was everybody, then, you know, I'd have a high-paying job in this business for the rest of my life. The point of the matter is that isn't always the case.
That's what we'll talk about next, WWE and TNA.
So what was stopping me from moving on? Was it what happened in TNA?
I mean, so many people have asked me for the last 6 months, a year. It's crazy the things that you hear, and you hear reported as fact. These people who are reporting as fact have no either A, concept, or B, consideration of the effects that could have on either A, your career, or B, your personal life. Well, I heard it, someone told me it, so let's put this out here, and well, what about if I'm married? What about, you know, if I've got a job interview? All these different things that can affect your life, but for some reason people seem to think that because I'm somewhat in the public sphere, then everything's fair game. And don't get me wrong, you know, like a lot of people have contacted me and said, you know, I don't know what happened or whatever else, but I just hope you're healthy. I mean, I've been blessed, genuinely blessed, that part of this tour, the people who've come up to me and shook my hands and said, you know, you've had such a great impact in either my wrestling career or me as a wrestling fan. I loved your matches, and in time, if it's the right time, then, you know, I'll tell my story.
Or maybe I needed to find resolution from one of my peers. One of my childhood inspirations and professional idols was Robbie Brookside. His Video Diaries documentary in the early 90s was one of the reasons I wanted to be a wrestler.
Anyway, welcome to Wrestle Leicester.
Now, nearly 2 decades later, his career was winding down. I often thought of Robbie and felt a kinship to him. Like me, he had travelled all over the world, working for nearly every major organisation, but had never found real fame or fortune. I hoped somehow, having as much respect for him as anyone, he could help me find resolution to the dream his documentary had partly inspired.
Where I come from in Liverpool, it's not, there are not pastures of green, and strangers would stop me and go, are you a wrestler? Like asking someone if they're gay or something like that. Yeah. I lost friends. I got to play football, means I haven't got anywhere to watch me. So I got Dad and Leslie. My dad died in August of 94, but Brian had a show at St George's Hall in Liverpool. I saw my dad getting up after our match with his walking stick and his flat cap. So we all met up after the show. I went like, "What did you think, Dad?" And he went, "He never swore me, Dad." Bloody hell, you're fast, aren't you? Bloody fast. And that was his opinion and his write-up of me career in wrestling. You're fast. But, you know, if it was only one time, it was one time, and I'm happy.
Well, maybe it wasn't the resolution I was looking for. I felt honoured to have shared that story, and perhaps understood a little more why we pursue our dreams. For the people who love us.
He's a good lad, is Robbie. He's a good guy. It's not just him as a wrestler, it's him as a human being.
And maybe there was where I could find resolution.
The day you were born, you looked at me as much to say, "Oh no, not you again." That was just expression in your eyes and on your face.
What? You believe things happen for a reason, do you? You do? Not sure if I do. If you want to believe in a destiny or things happening for a reason, then maybe my destiny was not to achieve my dream necessarily, but it was to pursue it and tell my story.
Okay. I love my brother.
It's a very aggressive dog or monkey.
Brilliant manager, great teamwork, great.
Thank you. Cheer up, Nigel.
I always remember coming back each time, having not made the WWE, feeling a bit like a failure and thinking, it's alright, I'll get there. And then now, no, I'm not going to get there. It just makes me feel like...
You haven't been a failure, have you? You've done well. You haven't reached the highest pinnacle.
No, in time I'll be fine. In time I'll be fine. It's just a bit of pill to swallow sometimes, you know.
I think you should focus a bit more on congratulating yourself on how far you have got. You're someone at 10 years old, got Sky TV and said, I want to be a wrestler. And you have been a wrestler.
Makes sense, right? Why then, hearing it from the people I loved as much as anybody, did it not start sinking in? I mean, I'd heard it again and again from my friends.
To have a little kid tap on the window because he saw you eating lunch in Browns in Islington, that to me equals made it.
Really?
Yeah.
And there were other things to look forward to in life. Things that maybe I'd missed out on because of wrestling.
Get off my ear. Chin feet. Terrible Uncle Nigel teaching you to punch people already. I used to have like something similar, but it was like cut off.
Was I being stupid? Did I need to have it hammered into my head?
Off to see one of my best friends in the whole world. Hey boy.
Can't argue with a sat-nav. You lost weight.
You are a bearded old man. Oh, you got to say some nice things about me being a wrestler.
In honesty, I've only known 2 wrestlers. Dragon.
Yeah.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah.
I quite like Dragon. I don't karaoke with Dragon. Good guy.
Wrestler. Right.
Well, technically, I think Dragon was probably...
In every way.
Really?
In every way.
Where is Dragon now?
I don't know.
WWE?
Yeah, living on a...
Where are you?
Living on a farm somewhere. I'm in your house, mate. Fucking coming to see you, so...
You're one of the best wrestlers in the world. I love you like a brother.
I understand, yes, I've done lots of things I never would have done, but it's still a tremendous sense of disappointment I never got to WWE, I never made the sort of money to where I can retire.
In England, hi Americans, you dumb fucks. In England we have something called the Premiership, which is football.
Yeah.
Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. 4 big teams. You've got another 16 Premiership teams under that.
Yeah.
Do you think every player that plays for one of them thinks they failed?
No, but every one of those makes like nearly $1 million.
Oh, but then are you judging your failing on finances?
Yes.
Then you failed?
Yes.
But that was never your dream, was it? When you used to run after the bus in Glebe, it was never for money.
Yes, I didn't have any money. That was right. If I could afford a bus ticket, I wouldn't have I would have taken a bus. If it was me wanting to do something with my life, you know what I mean? And so when anybody else that has a dream can go, oh, you know what, fucking Nigel had a fucking dream and he never gave up and he made it. So, you know, that's an inspiration.
But you're the only one who says he thinks you haven't made it.
A 15-year-old kid who's thinking about what he's going to do with his life,
yeah.
You know, he doesn't think I've made it.
A 15-year-old kid will put Desmond Wolfe or Nigel McGuinness into Google and he'll come with over 4 million results.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, that's...
You know what I mean? Do you know how many results come up for Alan Lewis?
Fucking hundreds, but not only you.
Paedophile, that's it. Alan Lewis the paedophile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mary Toff. Do you want to know how many come up for Mary Toff? Millions. But that's because she gave birth to rabbits. There's people who've had pictures with you this week and last week who are over the moon.
Yeah.
Really over the moon. It's like, man, can't believe I had a picture of, you know, Nigel or Desmond. He's lost a bit of weight. But
And about half an hour I need to go to the Crazy House for my appearance. No idea what it's going to be like. First time I've done an appearance. If I had any doubts about my celebrity, they were quickly assuaged when within seconds of being in the booth, this fella came right up to me.
guy actually apologised to me afterwards. He was like, "Oh, sorry, there weren't more people there." I didn't say it, but I was like, felt like, Christ, well, wasn't that supposed to be my job? Made me realise yet again how far away I am from that dream I had as a kid of being, you know, not just a professional wrestler, but a famous professional wrestler. But the other thing is, I'm okay with it. You know, whether you work a regular job and you have your 2 vacations a year and your nice apartment, or whether you know, do go a different direction and pursue your dreams, and it's just life, it's all perception, it's just got to be happy. It's that fucking simple. And
if you were English, then you could have been a star.
What do you think of Nigel McGuinness?
He's a load of shite. And he's got smaller nipples than me.
That's a keeper.
Everything and worship from afar. If you had diamonds, then maybe you could play the bar.
It's about 8 in the morning. I'm running on about 5 hours sleep. I forgot the fucking training seminars at 10 o'clock this morning, 10:30 this morning, 2 hours away.
Okay, Jesus, it's colder in here than anywhere.
As part of the tour, sometimes I give seminars before the show to make a little extra cash.
You can do a good head bridge, it's always good, it makes you look a little bit more professional than a lot of the other guys. It's your neck muscles that are going to protect your brain when you take those bumps and your brain's rattling around inside your skull.
Asked to be in this situation. To bottom them up, he needs to say that came out on top. To take over. Takes it to guys. As you alluded to earlier, catch the McGuinness. Again, on some crossface. Look at the torque of the arm. Don't know where to look. They've got him!
I've taken a knee because I'm humbled by that round of applause. Thank you. I can't believe that was the last time I'm ever going to wrestle in front of a crowd here in England. You're all standing on your feet. I couldn't want for a better crowd. And it's been one hell of a journey. You know, I've met such wonderful people in this business. People that I'll remember for the rest of my life. You guys are here because you understand how difficult it is for us to come out here and wrestle these matches, and you love it, and you support it, and God bless you, because without you guys there wouldn't be a place for me and all the other boys to learn our trade and be the best wrestlers that we can. We don't know why we love it, but we love it. God bless you. Keep pro wrestling.
That was the end of my career in England. God, I feel kind of sad. They asked me at the end if I was disappointed in my career, if there are other things I wish I'd done.
I wasn't going to lie. Very disappointed in my career, and I wish I'd gone to WWE and made real money. I didn't say it, but I'm even more disappointed because I got so close. Signed fucking contract. 10 years of hard work. Right there. I'd earned it. I'd fucking earned it. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to accept that. I can't remember who it was, but said something like they just want to be happy and do something that they love to make someone else happy. And that's all I wanted. But I did it. You got that. Why are you fucking complaining? You did all of that. You just didn't make fucking tons of money and make it on a national stage. Look, all the fucking bullshit posturing in the world ain't gonna change a fucking thing anyway. It's all the journey, not the fucking destination. The fuck it is obvious, it's clear and fucking clear. Everything I am or not, didn't do, not all the fucking introspection and fucking conversations and emails from people in the world isn't gonna change a fucking thing. Just fucking accept that and move on. Maybe if you can do that, if you can fucking just accept it and move on, then you'll find something else that's fucking good in your life and be successful.
I can't expect you to understand my despair if I don't finally tell you the truth about what happened to me.
Right, so you disappear, you're off television, you're done. What's the story?
I tested positive for hepatitis B. Hepatitis B is a completely different virus to hepatitis C. Most people, 90%, get rid of the virus on their own, like the flu, within 6 months. I was told not to worry, that I continued to be used in a non-wrestling role so I could make some money. I wasn't. And as weeks became months, speculation about what had happened to me abounded.
I've read on the internet that I've got hepatitis C, and everybody else thinks I've just got brain damage.
6 months later, however, I hadn't cleared the virus, and so I was put on antiviral medication. Eventually, I was brought back in a commissioner role on a secondary show, but less than a month after that, I was fired. And less than a month after that, I tested negative and was cleared to wrestle. I will never know for sure how I got the virus. What I do know is how I didn't get it. I never shared needles and never had unprotected sex. What I do know is that there is a vaccine for hepatitis B available cheaply from your local health department. What I do know is hepatitis B, hepatitis C, HIV and numerous other viruses are carried in blood. Today, more than 2 years after the original diagnosis, I have developed the antibodies to the virus and am hence immune. But I couldn't keep quiet. I had to say something. It's my hope that people will stop intentionally bleeding on shows, promotions will stop allowing it, fans will stop supporting it, and wrestlers will get tested and get vaccinated. I may not have got hepatitis B by other people bleeding around me, but by them doing so, they certainly could have got it from me. I was just lucky to have been tested when I was. I chose to wait to tell my story until now because I knew I only had one chance to make this mean something.
What's your feeling on me not wrestling anymore? You think it's a good thing? Is it something I need to do? Or like some of the people I've told kind of got a little bit angry and were like
Nigel,
you shouldn't give up, and they don't know the whole story.
That's forever.
Right.
It's not like a barber where I can do this till I'm 80. Ever since I've known you, I've asked you what your plan B was.
Yeah.
My plan A is to make a lot of money to where I don't need a plan B. That was your plan.
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry. As long as you have ambition, intelligence, and opportunity, you'll do all right.
For my last ever weekend on the road wrestling. You know, I just realised this is Pittsburgh, isn't it? This is where I came for my WWE tryout. I think actually the last time I was here was when I came here for it, and telling the doctor that I had a
torn bicep in the past cost me my job with WWE and my entire future in this industry, pretty much. So listen to you all lie.
That was where I sat, waiting for Dragon to get a rental car with the 2008 Playboy Playmate of the Year, who, may I add, was hired by WWE after testing because she hadn't had any injuries wrestling, because she hadn't wrestled, she hadn't done any sports at all.
Just got a phone call from Jimmy Jacobs. His car has broken down in Marion, Ohio. Hello, mate. Yeah, I guess those guys from Ohio, they left like a couple of hours ago, so they're almost in West Virginia already. Fuck.
I know, man.
Fuck. So I guess Jimmy can't get a cab to the rental place, so he's not coming. He's been wrestling for 12 years now, and this has never happened to him. He's never once missed a show because of this. So
I'm bummed out about it.
Let's go get some food.
Alright.
We're here in Tina Hot Dogs, and in the middle of Cotswold, West Virginia, and I'm ordering me food, and all of a sudden I turn around, and there...
One of his best friends.
What's that? Favourite people in the wrestling business, Gates. Oh, thanks, man. They came all the way to...
All the way, 9-hour round trip.
Got some money saved?
I had a lot of sympathy for Necro. I was scared to death of him when we first met because of his hardcore style. But I'd come to know him as an intelligent and caring human being who was really trapped into wrestling that style.
I don't know. Wrestling someone will go,
I'd hoped when he was in the movie The Wrestler he'd be able to get out.
I kind of wanted to see you make some money, you know what I mean?
but hey, man, I'm having fun, you know?
Yeah? You alright?
Yeah, for now, man. There's always tomorrow.
Sometimes there isn't. That's the trouble. Sometimes there isn't.
It's only 7 hours car ride away. That's all it is tomorrow.
A little bit concerned after seeing some of those pictures and stuff. I talked to the promoter and he said that, because I asked him before and I said absolutely no, I just can't, you know, I can't go on a show with this stuff. And he agrees and he said that he won't, and he's asked people if I see it, then I'm going to have to change the canvas or something, but I'm not going on after fucking blood.
What do you think about a ring announcer here?
I know Necro and Viper didn't mean to bleed, and that it happened by accident, but you can imagine how I felt, especially when this happened afterwards. I didn't get it on tape, but the ring announcer cut his head open with a spike in front of everyone to show his support for Necro Butcher. Then he handed the belt for the next match.
He cut himself?
Did you see that?
No, I did not.
I don't know.
No, I'm pissed. No, you're not telling me anything that you're preaching to the choir. I do not like it. I don't want it around.
This gives you an idea of the issue. Donna's a good promoter, but for some of the wrestlers, that's all they know. And as you saw with Necro, sometimes it happens by accident. As he'd said, Don changed the canvas and has never since had blood on one of his shows.
This is the last match ever of Nigel McGuinness. Thank you very much, guys. Great to see you.
McGuinness, the greatest wrestler in the world, right here.
How long did that take you?
2 days.
Well, I can't tell you how much that means to me. It really is. That's great. Fantastic.
I really wanted to make you part of this night because it's a big deal to me. There might not be millions of people here, but I feel there should be because I respect you and I feel you're one of the greatest wrestlers in the world.
Anyway, thanks for having me out, mate. You know, it's been good. I'll be good.
There's no reason why you should be retired. Are you bummed out?
12 years is a lot of your life. In that moment I thought back to a lot of the memories along the journey.
Why is it in fairy tales there always is a happy ending? Never in a fairy tale do you hear of a heart breaking. Just an everlasting love, the kind that is awoken with a kiss. If they wrote a book on us, oh baby, it would go something like this. Nearly made it, could have had it all. Climbed a mountain just to fall. Who's to blame now? It's too close to call. But we were almost beautiful.
This guy's retiring tonight.
We were almost beautiful.
This has been a long journey for me. It was about 15, 20 years ago I sat in the crowd where you are all sat and dreamed of one day being a professional wrestler. Whether you have your first match on a small show in West Virginia, whether you wrestle the main event in WrestleMania, it's all the same thing. It's all professional wrestling, and whether you're there, here or anywhere, we all love it, and that's why we keep doing it. It belongs to us. God bless you. Keep supporting, and I will see you all on the other side.
Nearly made it, could have had it all. Climbed a mountain just to fall. Who's to blame now? It's too close to call. We were almost beautiful. We were almost beautiful.
That was it. That was the end of my career as a professional wrestler. Well, maybe it was more just the end of my tour. And if I'm honest, the end of me as a professional wrestler a long time ago.
When we checked into the hotel, the clerks recognised the wrestler with me from his days in WWE. The guy driving us asked him about me.
Do you recognise him too? He's a wrestler. And they laughed. Out loud. They said maybe he's a friend of a wrestler. The person who made me this, he certainly know I was a wrestler. Says thank you for all the great wrestling memories, Nigel. With love always, Jolene. P.S. I'll miss you. You know, I know that there are some people who, to them, you know, what I did wasn't nothing. It's just about me trying to understand genuinely what effect, if any, I had on the wrestling business, and if it was worth it. I think it was. But now it's time to move on.
I finally accepted my fate, but all the anger, the sadness and the frustration I kept bottled up inside me had to come out.
There's nothing wrong with my fucking bicep. It's fine. It was fine then, it's fine now. There's no reason I shouldn't have been hired by WWE. I went to TNA. I had those matches with Kurt Angle. I should have had a fucking spot there, and a spot in this business. The rest of my fucking life. I'm tired of fucking bullshitting, pussyfooting around it. I'm just gonna fucking tell you how I fucking feel, and that's the truth. The truth is, it's bullshit. It's fucking not fair. I deserve that fucking spot. I was good enough then. I'm good enough now. But instead of that, I got lost in the fucking shovel at TNA, and then I got fucking hepatitis. Through no fucking fault of my own. It's just so damn unfair. And sometimes I wake up in the morning and I just feel sick when I realise and remember what the fuck happened to me. And yes, I know I've got no justification for feeling this way. And yes, oh my God, woe me, there are so many worse people off than me, and I get that. I understand that, but it don't make no fucking difference. Still unfair, I still should have been there, and fuck you for giving a shit. Fuck! Every day of my fucking life I have to watch wrestling. See the people that I was friends with, the people that came up with me, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, while I sit here with no fucking clue how I'm going to support myself for the rest of my life. At least you have a rest of life. Some people don't get that. You're young. You have plenty of opportunity in life. You can do whatever you want. I'm so fucking tired of hearing that shit. And I know it's perception. I know I control whether I'm happy or sad. I know all of those fucking things, and I just don't give a fuck. And now that I've vented, what can I do? I can stay angry, I can be mad, and I will be. And I don't think I'll ever come to terms with what happened to me. I think I'll ever go, well, if that hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened. I don't know. I do know that I didn't get half the stuff that I wanted to get on the fucking documentary, and I do know that fucking I'm probably not going to be able to edit it together. And I do know that my whole life seems like a fucking waste of time and a fucking failure, and it's all my fault because of the choices I made that I'm stuck here. I get it. Whoop-de-doo. So kill yourself. So fucking kill yourself. So give up on life. So what? I just had a dream. When I was young, I just had a dream. I wanted to be a wrestler. I wanted to prove that if you've got a dream, you can make it. And I believed that. And that is why I paid my dues and I made my sacrifices, and fucking God strike me down if I didn't just do my best.
Stripped of everything, defeated by what I hadn't achieved, I was left with what I had, the experiences, and the friends with whom I'd shared them.
It's midnight on Sunday night, and Dragon just became the world heavyweight champion in WWE. He sent me a text message. Just says, "Hey Nigel, they just gave me the World Heavyweight Championship. I wish you were here to share it with me. I'm sorry that you're not." This seems apropos the day after I retire, after I have my last match. Dragon becomes World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm not sad. If anything, I feel a profound sense of pride. And we both went to WWE, and we both had our tryouts and our medicals, and he was taken and bowed against the odds and proved to everybody that if you have a dream and you don't give up, you can make it. This is to my old buddy Dragon, without whom I never would have been half the wrestler I am, who has proven what I set out to prove. He made it. He really made it.
And with that pride, that even if I hadn't made it, My friend had. I finally came to a resolution. It's a little after midnight, and I'm sitting here in the silence of the kitchen, thinking back to when I was a kid. And I'd sit in the kitchen in my parents' house, listening to the whir of the fridge, dreaming about growing up, pursuing my dreams, filled with nothing but hope and excitement. I was a little upset the other day. I think a lot of the tour, I came to some realizations, I came to some acceptances, if you will. And then it almost appeared like it was all for nothing, and I was just as upset and just as crazy mad at how unfair it was after it all. I think now I realise that epiphanies, resolutions, they're good for about as long as you can remember them. And if there are any definites in life, it's change. There are times where I'll be okay with what happened to me. And then there are other times where I won't be able to see that. And all I can see is the dark, looming cloud of depression and the unfairness of it all, and how I had a dream and I deserved to get there. And I think, if anything, if there is any epiphany to be had from all of this, is to just accept that. Either way, for now, I feel happy. But what about my dream? Even though I didn't get to WWE, was it a failure?
Were you doing something that you love? Were you able to live on the money you were making? Did you make a lot of friends? Did you leave an impression on the people that you met on your way through the business that when they talk about you after you're gone is positive? If you can say that those things happen, then I don't know how you can call your career a failure.
You can't turn around and say that after your years in the business that you haven't made an impression, because you have.
The things I did, and when I try to look at all the things I got to do, the stories we have and the travels we've got, I mean, we've traveled all over the world for basically free. So I tried to look at those things, because it's easy to go, well, fuck, man, like, nobody deserves anything, but I've worked hard, and why didn't I get this opportunity? Or you can always do that, but that's not right. That's not healthy. If it's as simple as it ends up making you a better father when that chapter starts.
If you haven't tried it, don't you think you'd have spent the rest of your life wondering what might have been?
I love wrestling my whole life, pretty much, and it was my lifelong goal to get it.
Do you feel like you've achieved your dream, or you feel...
You always want more. Nobody's ever happy.
Do you feel like less of a failure by never having tried?
I always took pride in my work, and I think you have too, so...
And that's enough.
What else can there be? You can only do what they allow you to do. You can look in the mirror and say, I did everything I could. If everybody else did or didn't, that's not on you. You know, you have no power over that. So you have nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. I'm sure your mom and dad are proud of you.
Most people simply do this. They clap their yeah.
Right.
At least you did something.
Why you didn't make it in this business is beyond me. You and me and the other guys that we know, they chased their dream. We weren't afraid to do it. We took our chance, we rolled our dice, and we got what we got.
At least most, you can't say you weren't talented enough, you know what I mean? Do you see that?
Some other guys right now may have trumped this chapter, and some guys are making some money who probably, you know, obviously aren't as talented or haven't worked as hard as you or I. Now, that doesn't mean that the last chapter or the second last chapter won't get to shine. Yeah, who knows?
There's not a reason why Nigel didn't make it. I mean, and I wouldn't even want to say didn't make it, because in a sense, how many guys start out in this business? Thousands and thousands. How many people grow up wanting to be professional wrestlers? More than that. and he made it to where, you know, at one point in time, he was one of the best wrestlers in the business. You can't take that away. It's why he didn't make it bigger, the answer is just bad luck. It's not having to do with skill, it's not having to do with any deficiencies. You know, if he was luckier, who knows where he would be. Probably somewhere pretty big.
Was my dream a failure? I don't think there's a discussion. I didn't achieve what I dreamt of as a kid. But was the experience I got instead not worth it? Totally. But what about that 14-year-old? What would he think of our dream?
I saw you at ROH against Danielson. I was about 14 as well.
Oh, wow.
And I just thought, I really want to be a pro wrestler too. I've just started training about 8.
I think he'd be okay with it. But more so, he'll see our dream how I see our dream. If I'm okay with it, so will he be. I never had an obligation to make it. The only obligation I had was to try it. And once I'd let go, something happened. I used some of the footage to make a trailer and put it on Kickstarter.com, a platform for people to get financial support for art projects.
It's been about 2 months now since I finished the tour. I have over 60 hours of footage, but without your help and support, I simply cannot make the documentary. I took what footage I could and have done my best with the limited resources that I had, borrowing computers. Click. There we go. Project is launched. Exciting. I got up this morning and saw that there was about $500 already been pledged, and I was like, holy shit, this is going to be huge. By about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it was already nearly 10 grand. And now, by tonight, it's like 15 fucking grand. I can't fucking believe it. If people care this much, how can my career have been a failure? I am genuinely humbled by the show's support so far. If I had any questions about my place in professional wrestling, you've answered them. And it's not about the money. It's about the fact that you believe in me and you care about my story. When I first started this project, I had no idea if it would get funding at all, let alone in a little over a month. And yet here we are after only 3 days, and already we have reached the goal. I am so amazed and moved and genuinely humbled by the show of support so far, knowing that for some of you who could only afford only a few dollars, that you still gave it to me. When I started my retirement tour, I kind of felt perhaps that my dream was a failure and that all was lost with wrestling. And now I know it's never lost. And somehow I feel as though everything in my career led to this moment.
With the money, I took the next stage of my life's journey to Los Angeles, California, to make the documentary that you're currently watching.
It's funny, I went around the world on my retirement tour looking for an epiphany, a resolution, to try and understand what my career had been. And in 3 days, putting my project up on Kickstarter.com, I think I found out. 38 hours, 55 minutes. Finally on the open road. Blue skies, sunshine, clear road ahead of me.
For each of us eventually, whether we're ready or not, someday it will come to an end. There'll be no more sunrises, no more minutes, hours or days. All the things you collected, whether treasured or forgotten, will pass to someone else. Your wealth, fame and temporal power will shrivel to irrelevance. It will not matter what you owned or what you were owed. Your grudges, resentments, frustrations and jealousies will finally disappear. so too your hopes, ambitions, plans and to-do lists will expire. The wins and losses that once seemed so important will fade away. It won't matter where you came from or what side of the tracks you lived at the end. It won't matter whether you were beautiful or brilliant. Even your gender and skin colour will be irrelevant. So what will matter? How will the value of your days be measured? What will matter is not what you bought, but what you built. Not what you got, but what you gave. What will matter is not your success, but your significance. What will matter is not what you learned, but what you taught. What will matter is every act of integrity, compassion, courage or sacrifice that enriched, empowered or encouraged others to emulate your example. What will matter is not your competence, but your character. What will matter is not how many people you knew, but how many will feel a lasting loss when you're gone. What will matter is not your memories, but the memories of those who loved you. What will matter is how long you will be remembered, by whom and for what. Living a life that matters doesn't happen by accident. It's not a matter of circumstance, but of choice. The only choice you have is the choice to live a life that matters.
Los Angeles, California. I am finally here. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone, prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone, silence the pianos and with muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come.
Other people I knew who were lost pursuing the same dream as me.
Moaning overhead, scribbling on the sky, the message he is dead. Put cripples round the white necks of the public doves, let the traffic policemen wear black cotton gloves. You are my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out everyone. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood. For nothing now can ever come to any good. You are my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, guitar, my song. I thought love would last forever. I was wrong. I was wrong.